Hey, happy Thursday, everyone. This is July 11th, 2024, and this is Bird the Nerd, myself, with another video game market report for everyone. Now, today's market report is going to be a little bit of an overview of video games maybe you do not know about, rare video games for whatever reason. I wanted to add a little bit more information, some data as far as the actual reason for these video games of why I picked them, and one just kind of fun one. I do kind of want to throw in a fun game where you can just purchase and actually play it without rather than just try and collect it or find it at your local store or yard hunt or yard sale hunt or whatever you want to call it. But I hope you guys do enjoy these video game reports I'm trying to do every week. I may add a Pokemon report. I'm not sure if I'll get enough feedback for that, but for now, we're still doing comic books. We're still doing video games, and we still have our live show every Sunday. So I want to thank again everyone for their support. And if you could please click that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends, watch the whole video, make comments, let me know what video games you're looking for, of what genre. Doesn't have to be a specific video game. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. And without further ado, let's get into the presentation here. All right, I'm going to try a different website called Price Charting. I did not get consent for them to use their data, but I do want to give them a shout out. They have a monthly kind of I think it's $6.95 a month, and I've found their data is pretty comprehensive and it's pretty well thought out. Let me share this tab instead for a second, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you have the video game section, there's a trading card section, comic books. It's very simple. You can create a free account if you want to, and they have premium features and a pretty good database of any type of collectible you're looking for. So, for example, like let's say we're looking for Fortnite, and there it is. So you can track your collection. So you can put your own collection in here for free, up to 103 items, and they have every single Fortnite related, comic book here. They have video games, different, all the different versions of it. It's a really good website. And then if you can see here, like, okay, let's use this PlayStation 4, Fortnite Darkfire, for example. Here, give me one second. You should click on the link. This is what I really think is cool about it is you can see a chart, almost like a stock, over a certain period of time, and it charts the price of the stock, or sorry, of the video game. There's different types of prices. The data is just amazing with this website. It's a little bit more. I know they do track some of their data from eBay, so that I think you got to take that into account as well. But they do a really good job. Check them out. I'm gonna start looking at them a little bit more than I have in the past. But yeah, I'm gonna dive into a couple of our collectibles or these video games to see if we can find some data and that relates to your video game collecting hobby. So first up, Frozen Olaf's Quest on the Nintendo 3DS. Now, I don't know what the potential for this game is going to be. It hasn't beefed up a lot, and maybe it missed the window there, but this game came out more than 10 years ago, so it's about 11 years old. I think the Nintendo 3DS video games, as far as collectibles are concerned, might have that sealed kind of, you should probably start buying them now because they may bump them in price pretty quickly. I'd start probably with the Pokemons, like the Frozens, the Disney kind of products, or video games that pertain to Nintendo 3DS, because these kids are getting older. They're going to be the next decade of collectors here, and I believe 3DS is still bought and played rather than a Switch, which is a little bit more expensive and a little more geared towards, I think, adults. We'll see. But yeah, let's take a look at price charting again. So I'll just do Nintendo 3DS Frozen, and sometimes they fill it out for you already, but sometimes they don't. So okay, cannot find it. Frozen video game. Okay, let's see if they have one. This might not be a good example. Okay, here we go. 3DS. So, like I said, there's not a lot of data as of right now, but And you can see here, this loose price is like, you're just gonna pay that, right? Box only graded price 13.16. There's not a lot of sales here, so this is very low. But this might be one of those things where, eventually this could be, specifically because it's 3DS, this could be the next wave of collectible video games in that kind of 2009 to 2012 kind of era of video games. And 3DS, I think, just has a lot of potential because it's a Nintendo, and Nintendo's very collectible. So just something to kind of keep an eye out for. Again, this is like, don't go buying like 50 copies of this game. Just something to think about. Specifically with 3DS, I just want to find something that maybe could have potential later down the road. But Frozen Olaf's Quest on the Nintendo 3DS specifically. Kind of bringing an old school Siphon Filter. Yeah, I was reading an article about Metal Gear Solid the other day, and they were talking about how Siphon Filter, which I remember I was actually looking at this game first prior to Metal Gear Solid. It was a first-person shooter. It had kind of like a neo-noir, spy game type of feel to it. And then Metal Gear Solid came out. Horrible timing for Siphon Filter. I think people still gravitate towards this game. I know I never bought it because I was so in love with Metal Gear Solid, but I know people that did buy both games here. I'm a little hot in this polo, but yeah. So I thought it'd be cool to look at the prices for this. I'm gonna go back to price charting again and see if we can find some good data on this. The cool thing about this game is that it actually spawned a pretty favorable franchise, to be honest. So, it didn't just falter because Metal Gear Solid came out. It actually did do pretty well. So this game there's no data back in 2012. CIB 325. I wonder if there's a way to do graded. Okay. So this was graded in 187.50 in February. So that's pandemic prices. But look at this. It's bumped. I thought the pandemic was the height of all collectibles. Guess not in video games, but check this out. That's pretty good data. 335 for that was this past July. So maybe people are succumbing. They were leaving comic books and going to CGC. Oh, I love this, or VGA. This is pretty cool. They have a section where you can click on CGC graded and VGA games. That's really cool. You guys check out price charting, man. Like it's a great website. It's really cool. But nonetheless, Siphon Filter, pretty cool game, and we do enjoy just looking at the data for this. And this is spiked during the pandemic for sure, or past the pandemic, I should say. Almost tripled. Wow. Before I get into the next game, we're about 10 minutes into the show, and I wanted to really highlight this particular game because this game is one of the weirdest grails I've ever heard of. And I also want to thank everyone for watching live and, giving support to the show. And if you could, again, click that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends about the show. I'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into the next one. Clay Fighter for Nintendo 64. This is an absolute grail of a game. This was sold at Blockbuster during 1998. I don't remember specifically like looking for this game or seeing it, but the weirdest freaking eBay sale I think I've ever seen. It's got to be top 5 weirdest eBay sales. Receipts for this game go for like $500. The reason, from what my research told me, is this was a very exclusive game. It wasn't really bought, I guess. Copies that were sold by Blockbuster were very few and far between. So if the receipt's going for 500, you got to think that video games going for like 12 grand. I don't know. I don't even know how you multiply that, but I'm going to check out price trying to see what kind of info they have. And if they don't have enough, then let's go to, and then let's go to eBay. So it's the sculptor's cut specifically. Okay. Check this out. I mean, this is insane. Look at this. So let's do 5-year chart. Man, this is such a cool website. So loose, during the pandemic, you could have bought this for $553. And then March 2022, you could have sold for 2020, for 1367, which was the height, obviously. but you're still, I mean, this is past pandemic, man. I mean, that's a $300 gain over, a 3-year period. I don't know if there's any graded gains. Holy cow. Okay. I don't even know. 25K. Holy cow. So one sale per year. Look at this data, guys. That's so awesome. And then they have actual sale dates. I mean, this website's insane. 23K for a graded system. That's fucking nuts. Sorry for the bad language there. But yeah, I just thought that was such a cool story because it hits two different nostalgias. That's N64 Clay Fighter, the specific edition that's only available at Blockbuster, and obviously Blockbuster is gone, so it fits that category of. And who doesn't know what a Blockbuster is? If you unless you're born past 1998, I guess, or 2005, you don't know what Blockbuster is. But for everyone else, Blockbuster was the funnest thing to do on Friday night for a high school kid. Anyway, I don't remember. I didn't have a 64 for a long time, so I don't remember looking for this game, but it did come out in the later years when I started getting more into PlayStation. It just wasn't my niche. So unfortunately, I never thought about getting this game, but I did play the old school version of Clay Fighter, which is amazing. But nonetheless, there's your data for Clay Fighter and N64. Crazy stuff. Next up, PS3 Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. This game came out in 2010, and I just thought, like, when you're looking at art for PS3 games or any video games, a lot of grading companies are starting to authenticate autographs for these voice characters, these voice actors. And so, obviously you want to get the voice actor for a specific video game, but like, what if you want to get, I don't know, the like Tom Holland to sign this, or Nicolas Cage, whoever's on the cover. I think this is a great video game cover to get signed, or even make a video or a comic book cover. Other thing I think about this game too is like, so the basis for this game is it's kind of like a Spider-Verse type of game where I believe you play as different Spider-Men and you go across like different dimensions. So obviously sounds kind of familiar to Across the Spider-Verse. I wonder if there's going to be some. I'm sorry. I wonder if there was some, inspiration coming from this game that fled into the movie. I don't know that for sure, but if cultures twist it that way, this might have more potential than it has now. But let's take a look at the info on price charting here. Let's see here. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Okay. So it's on multiple ones, but we're looking at specifically PlayStation 3. So it's fairly priced. I mean, let's do a 5-year kind of data. So during the pandemic, it was going for around 60, went down a little bit, and then it's held steady around that point. Graded price is $218.53. A new price is $162.99. So I gotta say, you probably want to go CIB in this if you're investing to grade, but I probably wouldn't pay a ton of money for a very expensive sealed copy because the PS3 is kind of a tough one for high grade. So I mean, you might get lucky, but I'd probably pay under like $80 for a sealed Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. But I mean, more data that comes out about this game, and I think I might play it actually. The market may view this as a predecessor to Into the Spider-Verse or inspiration or loosely based on. So food for thought. I don't know. That's kind of reaching a little bit, but I think it's still valid when we think of like, move your thought process from like collecting and what makes things move. That's something that maybe a lot of people don't know about or have thought of that could come to fruition in the future. So anyway, next up, Conker's Bad Fur Day. This came out in 2001. I definitely did not play this game at all. It's about Conker, the drunk red squirrel, which I think was kind of funny. It's kind of a cutesy little game. Interestingly enough, Miriam Gonzalez, who's Playboy of the Month, helped host a marketing event for this game. I don't know why, but I think that's just kind of odd. But nonetheless, I thought this was kind of a cool game to invest in because it's kind of the later part of Nintendo 64. I think the GameCube came out around this time. I should probably look more at GameCube games as well, but it's one of those last kind of well-known franchises on the 64 that was released, prior to the Wii coming out. So I'm assuming a lot of people were kind of gravitating towards maybe PlayStation 2, because I feel like PlayStation 2 arguably is like turn of the century, perfect timing, and great console for feature technology. And people may have been like moving away from 64 type games. So anyway, 325 for CIB. I don't even know what a seal goes for, but that tells you right there that this is a beloved game. People are not letting go of this game, unless they're getting paid a high premium. But it's got a quirky story, and it got a lot of really good reviews, like 99% or like 95 out of 100 type reviews. It's and I feel like it was recognizable to me. I don't know how recognizable it is to like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, people, or generations, but it did span a couple of video games after this, so that has that as well. So anyway, Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64. GTA San Andreas Fall, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the special edition, specifically the special edition that came out on PS2, Rockstar Game exclusive. And I feel like I grew up on the Grand Theft Auto PC version, where it was like an aerial view. You park in these garages and you would do these different missions and get money and get caught. And that's about it. It's such a long time ago. I don't remember like getting out of my car and beating people up, but that might have happened. I just remember driving around. And so that was kind of my first introduction to Grand Theft Auto. And then I heard about it being on PlayStation, and I kind of passed on it, what have you, initially. And then I picked it up and I was like, wow, this is a really fun, stupid game. And so did a million other people. It was printed to, forever, but I felt like the special edition was something to talk about or research at least. I'm going to look at I'm going to look at our newfound friend Price Charting and see what they have to say about this. So San Andreas Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Okay. We might run into a bunch of, there's a ton of different versions of this. Brady Games. Strategy Guide. Jason, there you go. 765. I may have to pick that one up. Okay. Resale Platinum. Special Edition. Here we go. Do the 5-year chart. So loose. Probably don't want to go loose. You probably want a new price. So let's go new. So again, man, pandemic wasn't really getting into this, and then it fell. Well, it didn't fall a ton, and then look, it just spiked back up. So again, I think that movie, video games are getting more popular than comics. I mean, you guys can see it here. Let's see a graded version. And these are, again, that's sealed $300. So that's probably what you're going to have to pay for it. $14.99. And PlayStation 2 games, they grade pretty high. Graded. So it's come down quite a bit. I mean, I think if you're investing for the long haul, we think about like Fortnite PS4 version to invest in. I feel like Grand Theft Auto, like I would rather buy this in CGC 9.6 or 9.8 and hold on to that rather than Fortnite, because Fortnite's so damn expensive. But I know that Fortnite has like a lesser print run, so it has that going for it. But damn, that's kind of a good deal for. I mean, they could make a freaking Netflix series of Grand Theft Auto. It'd be freaking hilarious. The storylines are so good. So anyway, really cool exercise, I think, to look at a reputable website that has the data over like a 5-year period. That's really cool. And thanks to Price Charting, I'm gonna definitely plug them on all my other shows and on the show that I did do today. So give them a follow, or give them a like and all that good stuff. So on to the next, Lost in the Rain. Now this was a really interesting video game. 2013. I believe it's kind of like horror just a good story, I guess, is what I found from my research on this. Now there are two versions of this. There's the Lost in the Rain version, which I believe in Asia that's what it was called, and then just plainly Rain. The PS3 or whatever video game systems that have just Rain on it, those go for like 30 to 60 bucks. Now, what makes this so rare from my research that I found is this was originally a digital download on PS3. I don't know if around that time, I can't remember if they were just testing out the waters on digital downloads, but it wasn't really a big thing back then. And then you had I remember PS4 had a ton of downloaded games. Like they were really pushing the download deal. But Lost in the Rain, I gotta imagine the reason it goes for so much is one, it's the title and the fact that there's probably not that many printed because this was a digital download offering versus a physical copy. I'm gonna take a look at eBay on this because I want to get more like what's the active market looking at versus the sold. So 619 with manual. So that's loose. And so you can see this one's just 37, 13, whatever, 600 bucks. And it's shipping from China too. 606. This is from Australia. 450 from South Korea. New seal. I think that's a new seal, so that it's probably just loose. This is a factory sealed. Wow, that is pretty cool. I don't know if I would trust it, but I mean, I guess the listing's the listing. Let's see some, and I mean, as you can see, there's only 60 results for this game, so it doesn't really go for sale very often. $395. Let's see. Yeah, this is $525. Let's look at the listing real quick. I'll have to let us look at it, but oh shoot, show more. Will they? Damn. Okay. Never mind. They won't show us any of it. 480 for the English version. I feel like you have to go for this one. 400. So people know about this game. And let's take a look at price trending for this. Okay, here we go. So there's not a ton of data on this loose. Let's see all. So look, I mean, out the gate, this is out the collector's gate, I guess you'd say. It's really expensive, but not a lot of people know about this game. It looks like, and the people that do know about it, they're like, no, this is gold. So yeah, Lost in the Rain from 2013. It's an import. You're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to buy this from China or Japan, maybe Australia. So just be on the lookout for that and make sure it's the Lost in the Rain. It doesn't matter if it's loose or not. I'd probably just buy it loose just in case because you don't know about the reseals on these type of games. So rare replay, not reply, on Xbox One. This is basically a compilation of games spanning from the 1980s up until the early 2000s. It was released in 2015, and this isn't a collectible so much. I just thought it was a real fun value for people that wanted to just have an Xbox. I don't have an Xbox, so I don't really know a lot about it, but I just thought it was a really cool one to put out there that people may not know about. You can get this for like 15 bucks, and if you have an Xbox One, play on your Xbox One and enjoy, nostalgia like it really should be. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this game. So anyway, move on to the next. Spud's Adventure from Game Boy. Now, I can't remember when Game Boy came out, but let's look this up real quick. So it came out in 1989, so a couple years after. You guys know when it comes to systems, right? Like it comes out with 8 games, and then like 2 years later they come out with 50, right? So this kind of falls into that. Okay, probably this was like the future games of the system, and so I gotta assume that not a lot of people are looking for a video game where the hero's a potato. It's just me, but it had a really like big cult following and probably not a very big print run. I was looking this up on eBay, and asking prices are 600 for a CIB. So this has to be like one of those grail video games that people just want. Um, let's take a look though. Spuds Adventure. Spuds Adventure. I'm gonna go to price charting obviously for this one. And wow. So this game, can you imagine having this game in 2010 and people just didn't give a shit? Look at that. CIB. Boom. 3,335 for a CIB. That's crazy. Graded. Holy cow. All right. 6,530 for a graded version. So you can see why people, the box only 940. So maybe that $300, for this, or 600 for, a CIB isn't a bad deal. I don't know if you can get like a high ground list and flip it, but maybe make 1,200 and move on. I mean, that's not a bad flip for sure. But I just thought it was a fun game to research, and I never played it. I had a Game Boy, and I mean the games I played were Castlevania and Tetris, and then I moved on to PlayStation, and I think not PSP was way later down the road, but I can't remember the other console that I had before PSP. But anyway, Spuds Adventure Game Boy. If you ever see this like in a garage sale or like an antique store for like $100, scoop it. It doesn't even matter if it's loose. Just grab it. And last but not least, I haven't done a PC game before, so I wanted to think of a PC game that was a little bit newer, kind of with a tail off of like games being played on your PC versus like a video game system. But Far Cry, it's this franchise is still existent to this day, and it was started in 2004. I mean, it's 20 years. That's pretty successful, franchise. Ubisoft, obviously, like they created this game, and yeah, like I said, it spawned a video game franchise that Giancarlo Stanton is, I think, the antagonist in the most recent deal. But let's take a look at price chart and see what they think. Far Cry. And again, there's gonna be a lot of these. Far Cry PC. Okay, so you probably want to go sealed. Graded price is pretty cheap. Maybe just buy a graded price. I could see. I don't know, but it's possible this could become a movie. I don't know. Let's look at the movie. It was a movie. Never mind. I didn't even know. It's loosely based. And they could redo this movie. This was filmed in 2008, so I feel like yeah, that's not they could redo this franchise and do it right. But Giancarlo Stanton as like in the franchise already, I get him on to play his part in the movie. That I mean, this PC game could triple in value. But yeah, I thought that was just kind of a fun one to talk about. Well, that's all I have for the show today. Just a half hour into this show, and I think that's pretty good data. And again, I want to thank PriceCharting.com for all their data, all the info they do. It's really good data to look over a span of 5 years or so, to see the real big spikes. And I don't know another website that's doing that I've looked at. And I know there's other video game websites out there that people prefer, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I thought it was a good kind of exercise to look into. But yeah, again, I want to thank everyone for watching the show. If you did like all of this stuff today. Oh gosh. Okay. Please click that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you this Sunday. Perhaps we may see you earlier. I may do a Pokemon show. I don't know if I have time, but yeah, thanks for all your support. Click and have a good week. Take care.